I just wanted to share something with you guys that I've been doing for the past few months, and it completely changed my life. So we all have goals, right? We all want to be better, whether it's our relationships, our fitness, our career, our business, whatever it is. We all want to improve. But there's this one thing that's been holding us back, and that is taking massive action towards our goals. We don't take the necessary steps that are required to get us to where we want to go. So we just come up with these huge plans, and we're like, okay, I'm going to start working out every day, and then we do it for a couple days, and then we fall off. Or we're like, okay, I'm going to read more, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to do all these things, and then we don't follow through, because we're not taking small steps consistently. So what I started doing is I started breaking down my big goals into smaller steps. So, for example, if I want to work out every day, I'm like, okay, well, what do I need to do today to get closer to that goal? Maybe it's just putting on my workout clothes, maybe it's just walking outside, maybe it's just doing 5 push-ups. So I set these really small goals for myself that I knew I could accomplish, and then I just focus on those small goals every single day. And over time, these small steps have added up to these big changes in my life. For example, if I want to be better at public speaking, I know that I need to practice. So instead of just practicing once a week or twice a month, I force myself to do it every single day. I get up on stage, I talk to people, I do a different accent, I do an impersonation, I do whatever I can to get better at public speaking, because I'm taking these small steps every single day. It doesn't feel like a big deal at first, but over time, these small steps add up to these big changes in your life. So if you want to make big changes in your life, if you want to accomplish big goals, then you need to start taking small steps. You don't have to do everything perfectly. You don't have to do it all at once. Just take small steps consistently, and over time, you'll get to where you want to go. So I hope this video has been helpful, and I hope it's inspired you to take small steps towards your goals. If it has, please leave me a comment below. Let me know how it's going. Let's motivate each other to take small steps every single day. They say that Rome wasn't built in a day, and they also say that slow and steady wins the race. These are very popular sayings, but they're actually quite true when you think about them for a second. Nothing worthwhile is easy or quick, but nothing is impossible if you just keep working at it. In this video, we'll be looking at some quotes by famous people to help remind us that Rome wasn't built in a day, and that slow and steady wins the race. We hope that these quotes will inspire you and motivate you to keep moving forward, no matter how slowly. So let's get started. Thomas A. Edison. Thomas Edison was an American inventor and businessman who held over 1,000 patents. He invented the phonograph, the motion picture camera, and the first practical incandescent light bulb. One of his most famous quotes is, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." This is so true. So many times we give up just before we're about to achieve our goals. We get so close, but then something happens and we lose motivation. We become distracted and we forget about our dreams. But this is what sets us apart from the rest, our ability to push through those final moments when our willpower is at its lowest. When we can keep going even when we want to quit, that's when we win. It's not the people who start out with the strongest motivation who succeed. It's the ones who stay motivated, even when it's hard, even when they feel like giving up. And this is why Edison was one of the most successful inventors of all time. He didn't let setbacks get in his way. Instead, he learned from them and used them to make him better. Mark Twain. Mark Twain was an American writer and humorist. He was the author of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, among other works. One of his most famous quotes is, "It ain't the size that matters, it's how you use it." In the context of personal growth, this means that it doesn't matter where you start from. What matters is what you do with what you have. We all have different abilities and talents, but it's how we use them that really counts. You could be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't use your abilities, they won't do you any good. On the other hand, you could be average in every way, but if you use what you have to your advantage, you can still be successful. So don't focus on what you lack. Instead, focus on what you have and make the most of it. That's the only way you're going to be able to achieve your goals. Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was a British statesman and soldier. He was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom during World War II and is regarded as one of the greatest wartime leaders in history. One of his most famous quotes is, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." This quote is so powerful because it reminds us that success and failure are not absolute. They are relative. Just because you fail at something doesn't mean that you're a failure as a person, and just because you succeed at something doesn't mean that you're a success in life. What really matters is how you respond to both success and failure. Do you give up when things get tough, or do you keep going even when the odds are stacked against you? It's that inner strength, that courage to continue, that ultimately determines whether or not you succeed in life. So, never give up. No matter how difficult things may seem, as long as you have the courage to keep going, you can achieve anything. Malcolm X. Malcolm X was an African-American Muslim minister and human rights activist. He is best known for his work with the Nation of Islam during the 1950s and 60s. One of his most famous quotes is, "If you're not ready to learn, you're not ready to grow." This quote is so powerful because it reminds us that personal growth is a choice. It's not something that can be forced on us or done to us. We have to be willing to learn if we want to grow. And sometimes that means doing things that are uncomfortable. It means facing our fears and overcoming our weaknesses. But it's worth it, because personal growth leads to self-discovery, self-confidence, and self-fulfillment. It allows us to become the best versions of ourselves. So, if you want to grow as a person, you have to be willing to learn. You have to be open to new ideas and experiences. You have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone. That's the only way you're going to be able to reach your full potential. Robert Frost. Robert Frost was an American poet whose work often featured themes of nature and rural life. He is one of the most popular poets of the 20th century and is known for poems such as The Road Not Taken and Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. One of his most famous quotes is, "Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." This quote is so powerful because it reminds us that our lives are full of choices. Every day, we have the opportunity to choose between different paths, between different ways of living. And the decisions we make can have a profound impact on our lives. Sometimes, the path that seems most clear is the one that leads to success and happiness. But sometimes, we need to be willing to take the road less traveled, to be willing to go against the grain. This can be difficult, but it's often the only way to achieve our true potential. So next time you're torn between two decisions, remember Frost's words. Be bold, be courageous, and take the road less traveled by. Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou was an American poet, memoirist, and civil rights activist. She is best known for her autobiographical book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. One of her most famous quotes is, "Nothing happens by chance. Everything is by choice. The willingness to confront the truth of our past will allow us to change the future." This quote is so powerful because it reminds us that we are in control of our lives. We have the power to make our own future. Sure, things happen to us, bad things, things that we don't choose, but it's up to us to decide how we respond to those events. Do we let them define us, or do we rise above and use them as motivation to make positive changes in our lives? That's the choice that we have to make every single day. So if you want to create a better future for yourself, then start by confronting the truth of your past. Embrace your mistakes and use them as motivation to make positive changes. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. He is best known for his book, Meditations, which is a collection of his personal thoughts and reflections on Stoicism. One of his most famous quotes is, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." This quote is so powerful because it reminds us that we have control over our happiness. Our happiness is not dependent on external circumstances. It's dependent on how we choose to think about those circumstances. We can choose to focus on the negative, or we can choose to focus on the positive. We can choose to complain, or we can choose to be grateful. But ultimately, it's up to us to decide what kind of day we're going to have, what kind of mood we're going to be in, So if you want to be happy, then focus on the good things in your life. Be grateful for what you have and make the most of every situation. These are just a few of the many inspiring quotes that can help remind us that Rome wasn't built in a day. Each of these quotes offers a unique perspective on the importance of perseverance, hard work, and patience. By embracing these principles and remembering these words of wisdom, we can better navigate the challenges we face and ultimately achieve our goals. We hope you enjoyed this video and that it has inspired you to keep moving forward no matter how slowly. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel so that you can stay updated on all of our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.